What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. I was gonna do this inside, but I thought it is way too nice to do this inside, so I wanna bring you guys outside for this video, and I'm just really excited about it because it finally feels like spring. It finally feels like spring. It's about 60 degrees today, and I think tomorrow it's supposed to be almost 70. So in Michigan, it goes from winter to summer in the blink of an eye. But I'm also not complaining because it feels so nice. In today's episode, we're gonna be talking about how to get free seedlings from your thinnings. This was brought up a couple videos ago when we were starting our seeds, these tomato seedlings, in fact. We talked about how we don't like to have empty cells, because if we have empty cells, it's just wasted space underneath our lights. And our grow lights, our tables, even the soil and the trays we use, they're all precious resources. And I don't wanna just have an empty cell there because that means we wasted a resource. And so what I like to do is start 2 or 3 seeds per cell. But when you do that, you are running the risk that more than one seed will germinate. We're starting 2 or 3 seeds to guarantee that every single cell should have a plant in it. But if you use high quality seed, it's very common that you're going to get 2 or 3 seeds that germinate. And when that happens, you're met with a dilemma. You can either choose to just let them duke it out and let the survival of the fittest take over, and eventually there will be one that grows and one that kind of withers, or you can come in here and kind of thin yourself so that you can kind of cut that step out. A lot of gardeners hate thinning. It's one of the most dreaded tasks of gardening because when these seeds germinate, you want to keep every single one. And trust me, I'm exactly the same way. But the nice thing is with tomatoes are kind of the prize of the garden, and a lot of gardeners love growing them. And so it's especially painful to kill a tomato seedling. And so I'm going to show you how to take these thinnings and actually turn them into free plants. Let's go. So when it comes to tomatoes, they can actually set down roots all along the stem. This is why when we plant them out in the garden, it's recommended that you plant them deeper than they currently are, so that it actually helps to establish a healthier, stronger root system. And with tomatoes, they form these little microscopic hairs. Well, they're not really microscopic, they're pretty noticeable, but they're very, very small though. And they're these teeny tiny little hairs. I'll bring you guys in close and maybe you can check them out. I don't know if you can see that or not, but these tomatoes have little hairs all along the stem. And those little hairs are actually future roots. And when they touch soil, if those roots are kept damp long enough and the conditions are right, the roots will actually grow. And so the secret is to not thin your seedlings right away. You'll notice my seedlings look pretty mature. They look, well, pretty mature for a seedling. They have 2 sets of adult leaves. And a lot of gardeners want to thin as soon as they can. Now, when it comes to other plants that you can't do this with, thinning soon is always recommended because it's going to just reduce that competition, have one plant that's going to grow there, uninterrupted. But with these tomatoes, what I want to do is I want to grow them long enough that they can actually start to develop those hairs. The hairs won't develop right away. When the plant first sprouts for the first 2, sometimes even 3 weeks, those hairs are far too immature and the stem is too smooth. And if you planted that, it wouldn't actually set down roots. So what I like to do is let these plants get about to this stage right here where they start to get 2 or 3 sets of adult leaves. These ones are just forming their 2nd set of adult leaves right now. And that allows me to do this trick. All right, so I'm gonna come in here really close, freehanding the camera so I can get you guys in real close to show you what I'm talking about here. But in this cell, we have 3 plants. And these 3 plants are all growing in the same cell. And what you'll notice is there's one kind of, the fittest is kind of showing, and it's this one. The other 2 are slightly smaller, they're a little more stunted, and that's because there's already a strongest seedling being selected. And so what we want to do is come in here and trim out these other 2 seedlings. I'm going to come in here as close as I can to the bottom of the soil and clip them. I've clipped them below their seed leaves. These are seed leaves. I've clipped it below the seed leaves so I can plant extra deep. I have a nice long stem to plant. Get this other one here. Coming in here, here's another example. So this is obviously the stronger of the 2. there's another little kind of weak, feeble one down here, and then a stronger one. And so I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to, again, come in real close to the soil, and I'm going to clip. And I can do that with all of these so that I can ensure that there's only one seedling per cell. All right, and all we're going to do is just make a little hole here in our new cell packs. Take the seedling and stick it in as far as we can, right up to that first set of seed leaves. Stick it in there, backfill. Again, we're going to stick it in. We're going to stick it in as far as we can, and then backfill. And there we go. Now we have 6 seedlings that are technically cuttings. They are unrooted cuttings. And what we can do is keep these nice and damp. We'll put them, put some saran wrap over top or a humidity dome. Make sure these stay damp at all times until they set down roots. And then what they will do is they will start to grow. And how you know they start to grow is when they start to, they don't wilt anymore and they start to push new growth. That might take about a week to 2 weeks for that to happen, but it'll happen really quick because of how young these are. All right, there you guys go. There are 6 potential new seedlings ready to start rooting. I cannot stress the importance of keeping these damp enough. Make sure you put either a humidity dome over top or some skewers and tent, some saran wrap or something like that, just to keep them damp, because if they dry out, they're not going to root. They're going to just wither and die. And so keeping them damp and keeping the humidity up is very important to making sure these root. But if you can do that, it is that simple. In a couple weeks, these are going to start growing, and we didn't have to throw out any thinnings whatsoever. All of our original plants are still there. We selected the healthiest, and if these grow for us, they're just free plants, and who doesn't love free plants? So once these grow, I can either give them to a friend, a family member, a neighbor, or heck, even sell them at a farmer's market. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. As always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home, and we'll catch you all later. See ya. Bye.